Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to the video. I'm KBM and I'm here to talk about a couple of matches that I've watched last night, and I'm actually here to talk specifically about performances as a team and performances individually. So, yesterday there were two games that I've watched. First, West Ham versus Liverpool, and then after that, the finale of the day, Chelsea versus Arsenal. Two heavyweight going at it, first versus third. So first thing first, we'll talk about the West Ham and Liverpool game. So we get into it. We all know about the speculation with the pressure on Slot right now at the moment in time getting into this game. He has to win the game, especially with the way the team that we're playing now, aka West Ham, are performing. I feel like a win was only the right result going forward. No other alternative. And he did that. And he made some bold choices and he made sacrifices in order to get those results. Yeah, Salah didn't start. Vert came straight back into the lineup. I'll talk about him in a minute. Gomez started at right back. And also, I think that's about it. I think also as well, Alisson came back into the lineup as well after feeling ill. The lineup was very interesting because when I saw the lineup at first, I was kind of skeptical due to the fact that Gasper was still starting. I love Gasper, but I feel like his performances these last couple months, I know he's been our top scorer, I know he's been our top provider, but I feel like his decision making at times, he's trying to prove that he wants to be that man, and I feel like I've mentioned it before in my previous video. But well, he shut me up today. You know, 1 goal, 1 assist. I do feel like overall the performances, regardless of the 1 goal, 1 assist, he was still a bit. I feel like he still didn't have the best game. But I can sympathise with Gasper's performance yesterday. At the end of the day, again, 1 goal, 1 assist. He was very clinical in the chances that he got in the last minute of the game. Good finish. But I want to talk about one individual that stood out for me in that game. He played exceptionally well. And I want to talk about Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz, for me, it's not been an easy journey coming into the Liverpool squad, coming into the Liverpool team, coming into Premier League, and especially with the expectation of performing well instantly due to the price tag set on him at 115 million. Everyone just expected him to just immediately just click. But it's been difficult for him these last couple of months. And I think today was literally a glimpse of who he actually was and who he actually is, compared to his old self at Bayer Leverkusen. This is who he is. Florian Wirtz has arrived. I feel like yesterday he was just sensational. He made everything tick, came deep, drove with the ball, make link up with Sabazlai. It was just amazing. He didn't put a foot wrong, and I feel like that's only just for start. That's only just first gear, in my personal opinion. You guys don't want to see him in the third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, because I'm telling you, Florian Wirtz is an exceptional talent. He's amazing. I watched him for Bayer Leverkusen. He is genuinely amazing. But I feel like yesterday he performed really well. I felt like in that system, and we'll talk about the system in a minute, I feel like in that system it really suited him. I feel like we actually implemented that system around him, and you can see that it got the best out of him, and he played well. He played very well, and I hope that this performance can also give him confidence going forward, and also can allow him to reach that level that we all know that he can get to. Florian Wirtz, we all know he can get to that level. And I also want to talk about a certain individual as well in that game, was Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez has been a service of Liverpool for almost 12 years now, maybe more, 14, 12 years. And I love him with all my heart. I feel like every time he has stepped in, he has delivered. He just does the basics so well. He just does everything that he's asked to do. He does it with no complications and no exaggeration. I feel like I really do give props to Joe Gomez because he could have left Liverpool a long time ago to go for more game time, but he stayed loyal, he stayed committed, and then when he's asked to do something like coming to the squad, he comes and he delivered. He never complains as well. That's the one thing I like about Joe Gomez. And yesterday's performances were just one of those reasons why I love Gomez. I feel like he came to the squad. I feel like going forward, he really kept that balance in the back line. Even going forward as well. Even going forward. Sorry, like he's not Trent, but he's what's the word? He's okay, I feel like he got an assist today. I forgot to mention that he got an assist. I feel like his deliveries are okay. Some can be great, some can be bad, but it gets like that. But I feel like today he's just been really, 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 really good yesterday. And I feel like he had that whole side to himself due to Salah being benched. And I felt like he had that freedom. And I felt like he had the time. He kept it under control. Didn't do too much. I really, 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 really give a shout out to Joe Gomez after that performance. And yeah, I feel like the system, I feel like I mentioned before, the system overall, Slot, it was a very different system. We didn't really play with wingers, but I think there was like a bit of an interchange in the sense of like Gaspo come through the middle and then at times come out to help with Kirkes. I think Kirkes and Gomez had that freedom to just bomb up and down. Kirkes had a very good game yesterday, but I know he's capable of more. So I'm patient with him, don't worry. But I feel like the system was very narrow. I felt like it was like overloading in the middle. But I feel like with Gaspo, he would interchange with being in the middle and being out wide. And I feel like that's I feel like that's why Slot just keep picking him, because I feel like how versatile Gaspo can be in terms of in strike and in left wing. And not many can do that. I feel like you guys may think Salah, but I don't think Salah can really like interchange right wing and striker, because I don't think he can hold the ball in the middle like that. But maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like that system was a decent system. It was very promising. We looked balanced. We looked okay. We didn't give away too many chances. And speaking of giving away too many chances, the defence, I feel like Van Dijk had a much better game today. And also, as well, after the recent news, I feel like Konate kind of got his head screwed on and he played really well. But I'm still not keen on him. I feel like, again, I don't know what happened since the start of the season. He's just been off. But today was a much better from Konate. And hopefully for Konate, we can actually keep that going forward. Because I was skeptical of Konate being in the lineup. I thought it was going to be Gomez beside him and Jones at right back. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Not unfortunately, but apparently that was, so yeah, apparently it wasn't the case. So, but he played well. He took his chance. He took another chance that Slot had given him, and he performed well. Was it that he was performing badly because maybe he had his mindset on Real Madrid, but now that Real Madrid had now basically told Liverpool that they'd have no interest in Konate, does that kind of give tonight like a leeway to say, you know what, let me perform now so I can get that contract and just, or is he maybe waiting for PSG? I don't know. We don't know. Only he knows, the agent knows, and, the club knows. But he played really well. And, I feel like hopefully the performances as a whole, hopefully we can take this into our next game and do even better. I'm still skeptical because at the end of the day, we did lose 9 out of the last 12. So I am still skeptical. Hopefully we can just build on the performance and keep a stable system, and hopefully maybe get some runs in. And we don't know what could happen this season. We don't know. So obviously Arsenal top of the league, I think Arsenal played every big six club now. So I don't know what their runs are looking like going forward. I think next game they got Brentford, and after that they got Aston Villa. So, and then you got Man City. It's just are in no position to really talk about the teams that are above us right now. We actually really need to kind of focus on ourselves, you know. So, speaking of Arsenal, Arsenal had a game against Chelsea yesterday, and I'm very skeptical. The game ended 1-1, but that Arsenal performance didn't really like intrigue me. Like, I felt like Arsenal had the advantage to really get at it. So, as you guys know, the game finished 1-1. Two of the heavyweights, first versus third. One of them needed to win the game, and unfortunately, they both walk away with the point. We had the Rice versus Caicedo. We had Arsenal versus Chelsea. We had all of that. We had Cucurella versus Saka. We had a lot of battles, a lot of tension as well in this game. So we start off first thing first. I just want to talk about the situation with Caicedo red card, and also I want to talk about João Pedro as well. The Caicedo red card, I feel like Caicedo, from the moment that whistle was blown, he was erratic. He was too much. I felt like this is Caicedo though. Like, that's what me personally I like about Caicedo. I like about my DMs. Aggressive, they get in there, but sometimes sooner or later, that aggression, that erraticness will cost you. And today, especially today of all day, the battle of the DMs, the battle of the midfielders, Rice versus Caicedo, 35 minutes in, got hooked off. And I saw it immediately. That tackle, I saw it immediately. I said to myself, that's a red. But are they going to bring that back? And they brought it back, sent him off, and he was kind of confused. But I feel like before that red card, Chelsea really had a hold on the game. Believe it or not, that's what I felt like as well. Chelsea really had the hold of the game. I felt like João Pedro, I feel like every time he has this chance and he's in space, he takes too much time. He thinks in his mind that he has so much time to just think about it. If that's not the case, we're in the Premier League. He knows that. But I feel like that's something he needs to work on. And Esteval, obviously, based off the performance against Barcelona, I thought he played really well. You know, I felt like he should have not have gotten hooked off. I felt like Pedro should have got hooked off. But he got hooked off at halftime just to bring in an extra man. I think it was Garnacho. But Garnacho did play very well as well. But the winger did play well. I always thought like as well Pedro was the key to this game. And you know what? He did, like I said, he did really well. Did really well. And I think Chelsea would be very disappointed with this game because they had it in their hands. They had it as well. Like, they went 1-0 up, considering they were 10 men as well. 1-0 up. All they had to do was see it out, but Arsenal hit back. Saka did really well with Cucurella. Boom, cross, Mourinho, header, good finish. That's when I genuinely thought now that this was an opportunity for Arsenal to take it. And Chelsea still had it in the bag. And there's a reason why Chelsea still had it in the bag. And I want to give a shout out to a player that I really rated for so long. A player that in the past couple of years, his body has not done him justice. He's been in and out of the squad due to injuries. And we all know, we're all aware of his talent. He's one of the best England talent in the world. One of the best fullback. Reece James played exceptionally well. Especially in the position, out of position. Oh my goodness. He was everywhere. He was everywhere. Right back, centre back, DM, Ham, but he was everywhere. Technically, composure, like he would every attribute that you can think of, he did exceptionally well in that game. Considering they had a man down, he stepped up. The captain stepped up. Everything, and I actually I'm like very like in awe of that performance. He did really well, and at the same time, I'm not surprised. This is Reece James we're talking about. I feel like I said it before. I said it yesterday when I was watching the game. People talk about Cole Palmer being the best player for Chelsea, Caicedo being the best player for Chelsea. If this guy stays fit, when he is fit, nobody in that squad is touching him. Nobody in that squad is touching him. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. The what's the word? What he offered to that squad, it's just nobody in the there's very okay, not nobody, but very limited players in the world can offer that. I genuinely think he was man of the match for me. He was absolutely amazing. And I feel like hopefully he can continue this by staying fit. I'm not going to say the performance, because Reece James, every time he steps on, I've never actually seen I can't remember from the top of my head he's ever had a bad game. I don't think he's ever had a bad game. So I can't really talk about, it's his injuries. It's being available. Because your best ability is availability. But I feel like now I think his body is starting to mold into that consistency where he can actually now start being consistent in being available, But yesterday, played really well. There was one year where Mourinho got the ball, Calafiori had the ball, and I just saw Reece James just hunting down like a dog, and he won the ball. And honestly, I feel like we talked about the battle of Rice and Caicedo. I get into Rice in a minute, but James was just levels above everyone. Levels. So I give Reece James my man of the match, to be fairly honest. Declan Rice, he loved big games. I can't lie to you, he loved big games. But maybe people will say I don't watch him enough. But I think he hides from the ball. But I'll get into that in a minute. The first 20 minutes, he was showing Caicedo levels. I'm not going to lie to you. He was showing Caicedo levels. Winning, to tackling, timing and tackling was impeccable. Oh, that one where Esteval cut it back and Neto had the ball. And then I think he megged Reece James. No, he megged Declan Rice, sorry. And Declan Rice recovery, boom, blocked. Like that at that point, you can't even praise it, because it's normal at this point. And I felt like I was saying when I was watching the game, he is stepping up. But every big game Rice had, he's made for it. He's made for it. Every big game, I feel like he has just stepped up for Arsenal. And I feel like for me personally, for Arsenal, we talk about the Saka, we talk about the Odegaard, we talk about the Saliba, the Gabriel, we talk about all these players, but no one talk about if Declan Rice ever gets injured, God forbid, Declan Rice ever gets injured, I genuinely do think that Declan Rice I feel like Arsenal will crumble without him. The amount of work, the amount of dirty work he does for Arsenal, it's just, I don't see anyone in the world, apart from maybe, obviously, who I mentioned, Caicedo and Reece James, can do that. Maybe there's more in the world, but there's not much that can do it to his level. Consistency as well. So I felt like, but as well as the red card came on, I felt like you can tell that, it was slowly, his level went. I'm not saying he had a bad game, but he's saying he started exceptionally well to just a okay game afterward. And I feel like with Rice, I feel like in that DM role, I've mentioned it before, you can't trust him in that first phase. Because I'm saying this, after the red card, when Zubamendi got taken off, I feel like he had to be the one to receive the ball, but he was hiding from the ball. I was watching him, he was hiding. And this is what I'm saying about Declan Rice. I feel like everything else about him is exceptionally well. I keep using the word exceptionally, but whatever. But I feel like when it comes to him receiving from the first phase, I feel like he hides a lot from the ball. I feel like he really does. He doesn't show for the ball much often. Like, he was showing for it at first, but then after the 10 men, he just disappeared. Just disappeared. But, like, overall, anyway, he had a good game. I feel like Arsenal as well. I want to talk about Arsenal as a team as well. I feel like away against top teams away from home. We talk about Liverpool. We talk about United. Can't believe I'm calling United a top team, but United, they won the game. We talk about Chelsea today, and I'm trying to think in the back of my head, was there another top team they played that they struggled away from home? Sunderland. When they go up against a competent team, a team away from home that is well structured, that is well coached. I feel like Arsenal don't come in with the mentality where they show they can actually be champions. Apart from that Newcastle games, yes. But I feel like away from home, Liverpool, they came in with the mentality away from home for a draw. Like Arteta, like what's going on? Like you have the squad, go for the win, you know? As well, Chelsea today, I feel like Chelsea technically, Arsenal technically was off. They was off balance. I feel like the passing, I feel like the intensity, the pressing wasn't it. Defensively as well, there was a bit shaky. But obviously you can understand that since Gabriel and Saliba were missed. But I feel like there was just so much to talk about. I feel like Arsenal has so, against big teams away from home, they lack. They lack that intensity. They lack that fight. At home, fair enough, because they have the crowd behind them. But like, I feel like they're very intimidated. They're easily intimidated away from home. And that's going to cost them later on in crunch time. I don't know what it is. I think in big games, Arsenal, I don't know what it is. I feel like, maybe I'm being overreact, or maybe I'm reactionary right now, but it's what I've seen all season. That's going to cost Arteta. I feel like Arteta keeps having his handbrake on when it's away from home. At home, he takes it off. Cool. But, like, this is now a 5-point lead. You had an 8-point lead. Now it's 5. And, like, Arteta, like, this is the season. Like, Liverpool not playing well. City are still, they're still building. They're still trying to get back to the city, but it's still up and down. This is the opportunity. Don't put the handbrake on. Just go for it. Because if you don't win it this season, and when Liverpool eventually do come back, or Man City do eventually get back, or who knows, Chelsea, or, we don't know. This could be an opportunity to build a dynasty. I feel like he's too stubborn in the sense of, okay, he just doesn't want to lose. And I get that every man doesn't want to lose, but you can tell he really doesn't want to lose, Like, or it's either a draw or a win. No losses. And that's going to cost Arsenal in the future. But at the end of the day, look, they're still top of the table, 5-point clear. Their next game with Brentford at the Emirates. I think that's a relatively easy game. I feel like it will be a set piece battle. But I do feel like Arsenal will probably scratch that with maybe a 1-0, 2-0 win. And then after that, they got Aston Villa. But I genuinely think Aston Villa game would be very difficult. But I feel like overall, the performances overall was from Arsenal and Chelsea was very interesting. I think Chelsea really played well with 11 and 10. Arsenal, I felt like they could have done better. But yeah, I've already spoken about that. I feel like hopefully in the future it can change, because you don't want these type of games, especially away from home, to cost you in the future. Like especially against top teams. You want to go for the Champions League. You want to go for the Premier League. Away from home is where it's an issue, in my personal opinion. I might be wrong, but that's what I think. That's what I just think. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. To be honest, I feel like the next game for now for Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, and West Ham, Liverpool, and yeah, I think Arsenal's next game, again, I mentioned, is Brentford. Chelsea's next game is Leeds United. I think away, I assume. And Liverpool is Sunderland. Difficult game. So we just got to see how next week unfold. I think next week is a big week, 2 games. After that, a lot can change. A lot can change for any of these 3 teams that I have mentioned. So yeah, hopefully for my team, Liverpool, we can remain that consistency, bring back that consistency. And maybe for Arsenal, for me as a fan, drop points. But for Arsenal, take the handbrake off. And Aston Villa next week, on Saturday, the Brentford game probably win, but Aston Villa, take the handbrake off. Don't go in there with a mindset of not to lose. Go in there to win. Chelsea, Leeds United away from home. I think that's a relatively easy game for Chelsea as well. I don't know who Chelsea got after that, but we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much my review and my recap on the game that I watched yesterday. And hopefully, like I said, we can go forward. We can look at this and maybe take a positive from it and build on this. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for listening to. Thank you very much for listening to my recap, my opinion on the matches I watched yesterday. If you guys want to join in, join the story, come along on the story. Again, it's going to be crazy. Please like, subscribe, comment, whatever, man. Be a part of the family, because I'm telling you, you don't want to miss the journey. It's going to be a crazy one. Love you guys. See you guys in a bit.